What's going on, my fellow residents? It's me, TheFrozenCavern, and today, my goodness, this is going to be a very long video, but I'm doing this Kingdom Hearts 30-day challenge thing, but I'm going to be doing it in a video because that's going to take way longer than just one video. So again, this is going to be a long video, so let's just get right into this. So first question is favorite Kingdom Hearts game. That would be Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, without a single doubt. There's amazing music everywhere, and it has the best combat in the series for me, which is very important, and it's a game that I can always go back to and still know where to go when I'm skipping cutscenes, which is signs that is really good. Now, in terms of the overall story integration with the Disney worlds, that should have been better throughout the entire game, but other than that, I don't really have many issues with it. Number 2, least favorite Kingdom Hearts game. Days. Slow and boring story, repetitive and archaic combat, a lot of music from older games is used, which isn't exactly bad because the music from those games are good as well, but it has the worst collection of bosses in the entire series, and the only good part of the entire game is like the end, honestly. I honestly want to go back to the game only to make a video on how to fix Days, but I don't even want to go through the game again. That's just how bad it is. I could literally try to replay every other game, but I just can't touch Days. Favorite character? Roxas, if that wasn't obvious enough with the whole icon for my YouTube channel. Riku is a pretty close second though. A lot of people's favorite is Riku though, from what I've noticed. Least favorite character? This one might be a little bit out of left field, but Luxord. When I was younger, I thought he was pretty cool, but now he's literally nothing to me. He doesn't have any form of backstory like some of the organization members, however, he doesn't really have a good personality to help him stand out compared to the others. In fact, he stands out because he doesn't have a good personality, which is kind of bad. Maybe if he got more screen time, then he could be higher, but Luxord is just bland. He doesn't really do that much, he kind of just feels like he's there, and honestly, he doesn't even feel like he fills that much of a role. Aside from his cars though, those are pretty cool. Favorite world? Now, oh goodness, I had to think about this for a good while, but Timeless River. Square went all out with the aesthetic to this world, and it works so well in the game's favor. The bosses are pretty fun too, and enemies aren't too easy, but not too difficult, including the cars. The cars are just fine, people just need to know how to dodge them. Anyways, Timeless River is a really well done world, and I'm glad that that kind of stuff is around. Now, least favorite world. Kingdom Hearts 1's 100 Acre Wood. Oh my goodness. Okay, that world is just boring. I honestly don't know which is more boring, Days or that world. I would rather go through KH2 Atlantica again than go through this, because at least with Atlantica, I think that's shorter. Might be like 15 minutes shorter, but whatever. At least with that, you can make a meme out of it or even sing to it, which regrettably I did. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? But with 100 Acre Woods, I'm pretty sure that when I was recording the Let's Play episode for it, I felt like I was falling asleep. That is extremely bad. And yes, I know that is a minigame world, and it's not going to be all that exciting. However, the minigames in the minigame world aren't even that good. At least Rechain and especially Kingdom Hearts 2 have some good ones. Honestly, the only good thing about this world is the music, which is used in every single version of this world, so that's not that much of a bonus, and the extra bonuses you get for completing the world. Other than that, there's not really that much good stuff about it. Character you identify with the most? Roxas, again, obvious why, but Roxas is just confused, wants answers, wants to be his own person, and ends up doubting himself and those around him a lot. I don't really do that as much as him, but I still do that, whether for better or for worse, and he sacrificed himself for the greater good, and one day I might have to do the same. That ended on a very dark note. Let's continue to the next question. Character that is your exact opposite? Larxene. Larxene, for a lot of reasons. She is an evil, despicable person that has the most enjoyment out of others suffering, if I could speak. Now, as a character, I like her because she does her role well. It gives you to actually feel emotion of hatred for her. That's good, unlike Luxord. But as an actual person, no way. Favorite soundtrack song? This is one of the hardest ones because there's too many good songs in the series for me to just choose one. The calm songs and the sad ones are really good, and I could go on and on about all the music in the series, but I do have to choose one. but in this case I'm choosing 2 because I can't just choose one. I'd have to choose Traverse Town theme or Key's Dearly Beloved, both for different reasons. Traverse Town has the best calm and relaxing music to me, and I wish I could walk around with that music playing sometimes. And Key's Dearly Beloved is just epic from the startup and then remains cheerful and sounds like it's looking onward into the future, and it's just amazing. Most difficult boss. Okay, I'm gonna choose a story boss and an optional boss because I think some people might actually ask about that. And also there's just good candidates on both sides of that. So for story, young Xehanort, and it's for the dumbest reasons. He can bomb rush you from across the map. Flow motion is basically pointless in that fight. I honestly don't feel like my partners helped me at all in that fight. And a clock phase is where he literally bomb rushes you, and if you don't beat it then, you have to repeat a good third of the fight, and that boss is just hard for all the wrong reasons. A close second is Marluxia in the Game Boy Advance version of Chain of Memories. Then again, I was also playing on a laptop that's worse than the one I have right now, so that might have a little bit to do with it. But I could definitely say that the Game Boy Advance version of Chain of Memories is like one of the hardest games in the series, if not the hardest. Now for optional, Mysterious Figure and Birth by Sleep. Honestly, for most people they will either say this or Julius. There's no other 2 people for optional bosses. Mysterious Figure is infamous for being one of the hardest bosses in the whole series, and if you don't use a bunch of surges, you stand very little chance, especially as Terra since his dodge doesn't have full invincibility frames like Ventus's or Aqua's. And then turning things around, we have the easiest boss. Okay, so I'm going to avoid choosing first bosses in the series because that's kinda dumb. They're supposed to be a little bit easy, but I'm going to choose the first Marluxia fight in Chain of Memories. I've honestly fought first bosses of the series that is harder than him, and he's one of the last bosses of the game. Which is strange because, like I mentioned earlier, his Game Boy Advance version is one of the hardest bosses in the entire series. His boss did not adapt well into 3D to make a very challenging boss fight for me. Favorite Keyblade? Diamond Dust, because ice. I just like ice powers. I guess Oblivion is like also tied with that. Favorite Sora Drive form? I'd have to go with Wisdom form. I just like blue, and Wisdom form magic goes a pretty long way if you can use it effectively. Also, once you get this, Valor form isn't really all that helpful aside from the high jump. If you know what you're doing, you can level that up pretty easily. And another plus for this is that in the vanilla version of KH2, the slide dash is your only ground dodge in the game, so you kinda need that. Characters that you ship the most?
Queen Minnie x Xehanort. Oh, Xehanort too. Simba x Aqua.
Jack Skellington with Jack Sparrow, fam.
Pumbaa x Xemnas. Tinkerbell x P.
Pooh x Stitch.
Piglet x Beast. Jiminy x Darkseid.
Titan X Piglet, no.
Eeyore x Sephiroth.
Rock Titan X Kyrie.
Barbossa x Tigger. Monstro x Stitch.
Nah, Stitch could take him. Shock and Barrel X House Oogie Boogie.
Favorite friendship trio? Sora, Riku, and Kairi. They've been with us since the very beginning and have gone through a lot of struggles together, and now I feel like all 3 of them are going to turn into an unstoppable force in 3. A new world you wish to see in Kingdom Hearts 3. I imagine that The Incredibles is pretty likely, and would be really cool to see superpowers as well as real-life machinery fighting side by side with the Heartless, and can make for some really interesting boss fights. Plus Incredibles 2 is like around the corner, so there's that. Saddest moments in the games. The saddest moment for me would have to be Roxas and Axel's final goodbye to each other. They have their last talk just remembering all the fun times they had in Twilight Town as they look off into the sunset, eating their last ice cream. And there's a lot of emotion, mainly from Axel, as he doesn't want Roxas to go, and even tries to keep himself from crying, but just wasn't able to hold out. I rewatched that recently, of course for this video, but it got me in my feels. I'm not even gonna lie. Now, happiest moment in the games. Surprisingly for me, it was harder to find happy moments in this series than sad moments, which is kinda depressing honestly. But anyways, my choice would be Sora imagining himself dancing with Kairi, because she is someone who is very special to him, and I also like the detail that it is the KH1 Kairi, because at this point, he doesn't know what Kairi looks like now, and I like the small details like that. Favorite Heartless. Do you know how many Heartless are in this series? I don't even think about this like ever, but I guess Hot Rod just to spite people. Favorite opening? Now this is probably going to be a very surprising one, but Recoded's opening, especially the 2.5 version of it. This intro is just fun to watch for me as it recaps the entire series, or tries to, and it's mainly of all of Sora's adventures and even makes a few not really all that subtle references to other games in the series. Also simple and clean plays, so that's a plus. Favorite Final Fantasy character in Kingdom Hearts? Auron. He, for some reason, has been the only Final Fantasy character who has been a party member throughout the series, and he's actually pretty useful as a party member too. Like, he can heal, he has pretty good damage, and his limit's pretty good too. I do hope that more representation across other Final Fantasy games does happen though, because honestly, other than Auron, there's like 4 other choices. Favorite item? Potion all the way. If we didn't have potions at the beginning of the games would be way harder than they are now, and it works until we get cured. So, be grateful for those small things that you just carry around. Favorite magic attack? To not go with an obvious route and say cure or reflect because those are stupidly easy to choose, I'm going to go with arrow in Kingdom Hearts 1. Honestly, all the other variations of arrow are kinda bad, especially in Recom and Days, because those are only like small attacks and they don't really do all that much damage. At least Burp by Sleep has like a decent version of arrow, but any other version is kind of downgraded. Favorite Disney character in Kingdom Hearts? Goofy. Goofy is the realest person out there. He would take a bullet for anyone any day of the week. Also, he was kind of broken in Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix. He has an ability that gives me MP and one that gives me HP. Best party member, 10 out of 10. Favorite quote? Now, of course, there is a lot of good quotes, but what I'm going to choose is pretty bizarre.
Wouldn't you like to be real? All you need is the kind of power that the real Riku doesn't have. If you can get that, you can be a new person, not Riku, nor anybody else. You won't just be a copy of someone, you will be unique, your own self.
Really and truly, this entire scene is just creepy from Axel. He usually is not like this. In fact, throughout all of Recom, he's made out to be a pretty crazy kind of guy. And he's not like that in future games at all. So it does make me wonder why he changed so much. Because he's not like that in Days either. And Days takes place like slightly before and after Rechain. So, most shocking plot twist. It would probably be in Kingdom Hearts 2 where you find out that you've basically been doing the organization's work the whole time, collecting hearts for them. And now you're thinking back to how many Heartless you've defeated and how you can't defeat anymore or else you'd be helping them. However, at the same time, you have to protect yourself and others, and it's just a bad situation all throughout. Most difficult side quests. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this counts as a side quest, but I'll say it anyways because it is stupidly difficult to try and get sometimes. But there is a shield and staff in Kingdom Hearts 1 that you can get from a random drop from 2 specific enemies. The issue with that is that the drop rate of these is between 0.05% and 0.1% without lucky strikes. And this is just with experiments of me looking on the internet, so this could be completely incorrect. But with lucky strikes equipped, it goes up to between 2.5% and 3%. This is literally determined on luck whether you get it or not, and the luck is stupidly small. Most exciting battle, Datasaur versus Datariku actually, which is a little surprising. The fight is long, it is a tough fight, and is way better than the movie made it out to be. There's a good number of other fights of course that I could also put with this, but I'd be going on and on about those. Favorite art game cover, Kingdom Hearts 1 actually. There's just so much to look at with all of the characters and Donald and Goofy right on the front, with Traverse Town in the background, and it just looks glorious. Most of the games after this don't really have that much stuff like that. Like, it's really just a good amount of characters and not really too much of a background. And honestly, it's a shame. Other video game crossover you would like to see in Kingdom Hearts 3. Final Fantasy is out of the question because that's literally what Kingdom Hearts is. So probably The World Ends With You. It's the most likely, considering that it happened with some characters in Dream Drop Distance. But anyways, that is the 30 question or day challenge for Kingdom Hearts video. And how long was this? Oh goodness, it's like 18, almost 19 minutes. But anyways, this is going to be a very long video to edit, but it's fine. I'm used to that kind of stuff. But anyways, if you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe for more video game content, as well as let me know of anything on the entire question thing that you want to give your answers to in the comments below. And make sure to share this out with other people so that they can also see it, potentially answer these questions, and possibly get a little bit interested in the Kingdom Hearts series if they so feel like it. Or just see another person's opinion on the series. But until the next video, take care.